This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade.
Here we go. The Adelaide 36ers taking on Melbourne United. Now, the 36ers, they looked very, very good against Perth, but is that going to be enough to take on the red-hot Melbourne United? 6 on the trot. And the most important thing, they're doing it on the defensive end. Physical, tough, undeniable on that end of the court. So I'm going to take Melbourne United in the head-to-head. I usually don't take such a short price in the head-to-head, especially in the NBL. So we'll look at the handicap market here. I reckon United, the way that they're playing at the moment, holding teams to 33%, with Adelaide 36ers not having the firepower to be able to take that on, I reckon they're able to cover this handicap here. So we'll take them there. The total points under. Defence is too good for Melbourne. Adelaide aren't going to be able to score enough to cover that figure. Enjoy. Most importantly, gamble responsibly.
This is a game where we learn a lot about both teams.
Maddie Dellavedova says, wait a minute, big fella, whatever you can do, I can do better.
Dellavedova in the paint. Nice floater. Dellavedova was given room. His second 3 of the game. There's Dellavedova. Second.
We talked about how nice it is to shoot in the gym. Delly's letting you see it, isn't he?
Now he's open at the top of the key.
Come on, Delly. Come on, Delly. Go to work, son.
Got an appetite for more. There he is, looking for 5.
And Dellavedova
said, anything you can do, I can do better.
continues to play and shoot the ball with extraordinary confidence.
Dellavedova fires away.
Wow.
It is raining threes for Matthew Dellavedova. A 6-game winning streak. The hottest team in the Hungry Jacks NBL right now have got the job done.
Well, statistically, last Sunday was Matthew Dellavedova's best ever game, and when you own an Olympic bronze medal and NBA championship ring, well, that's a big statement. But tonight he faces the man whose job he took. Mitch McCarron made way for Delly at Melbourne, but has spent all week downplaying the grudge match scenario. But when you've got two competitors as fierce as Delly and Mitch, well, good action won't be far away as we welcome you to the Adelaide Entertainment Centre for the continuation of Round 8 of the Hungry Jacks NBL. Hi everyone, I'm John Casey. Thanks for sharing your Saturday night with us. On Tuesday night, Adelaide upset then ladder leaders Perth. Can they dethrone Melbourne from the top tonight? Let's find out. Here's Andrew Gaze, Corey Williams and Jack Hebron.
Thank you very much, Case, and good evening to everyone. And that is a very good question for you, Corey Homicide Williams. Can Adelaide continue the form that they showed on Tuesday? They were fantastic.
Yes, they can. I've had this team in my top 4 earlier in NBL22.
Who haven't you had in your top?
Oh, here you go. I had them, though. They started out good. They're going to have to perform with this man out, but it was a great game against Perth Wildcats.
And you look at the starting lineup there with Solomon Ditch coming in, replacing Dusty Hanners. So I think this speaks to the defensive emphasis that the Adelaide 36ers are going to put on the Melbourne United. And Cam Bairstow comes in and did a fantastic job a couple of nights ago and had his best game as an Adelaide 36er. And I say, probably his best game in the last couple of seasons. Yeah. He was outstanding in that win over the Perth Wildcats.
He certainly was. 3 weeks is what we're being told for Isaac Humphries with a knee injury. Here's Mitch McCarron, his performance against the Perth Wildcats. And you'd suspect that this would have been a game that he would have circled in the fixture pretty early after crossing over in the off-season for Melbourne United.
You better believe it. Almost a triple-double against Perth Wildcats, which sets the benchmark defensively. He's a defensive beast. He locks up. He's a star. He leads his team. I'm looking forward to watching him going against Delly because you know when it's time to go against your former team, when they took somebody else in that spot, you ready.
Here he is in the lead-up to tonight's game, talking to John Casey.
Mitch, the last time Melbourne were here, you were playing for them. Do you change the way you approach a game when you're up against a former team?
I don't. I haven't. Yeah, it's just exciting for us to get another chance to play as a unit. You know, obviously being out for so long and having a month between games the other night was a lot of fun, and hopefully it's the same tonight.
Your old coach, Dean Vickerman, says that Melbourne are going to make it uncomfortable for you tonight. What does he mean by that?
I think that's because I play point guard, and that's what we used to do to other teams, try and take it out of the point guard's hands and take them out of their stuff. So we're expecting the same.
You know this team very well. How do you stop a team with 6-game winning streak and momentum?
Yeah, obviously they're a super talented team and they've started to get a roll on. Got to take it away from their main pieces, but they got a lot of guys they can go to. So we'll just stick to our scout and hopefully execute.
Here's the starting five for Melbourne United as well, with thanks to our great friends at DoorDash. Hungry? Fire up DoorDash and you order your game day essentials now. 6-game winning streak.
Yeah, and Agata's been very big in those, averaging 16 and 8. It's his work on the glass is quite amazing. Jack White provides them with that extra punch. Joella Luala-Chul, he has been superb. We all know what he's going to do. Whenever he touches, it's a high probability he's going to look to score, but it's his rebounding of late that's really kicked in.
Who gets it done, Corey?
It is hard to go past this red hot at both ends of the court Melbourne United. They will get the win today.
Go.
Oh, I'm going to go, as Sunday mentioned was, I went with his brother Solly, who I coached for many years. Not the first of my mistakes that I'll probably make. But
hello to the triplet family.
Yes, I'm going to go with Melbourne United on this one. Hard to go past a team that's won 6 in a row.
Melbourne coming off a big win on Sunday against Illawarra. They had to dig deep and they got a good result. Jack White took it to the rack, was met upstairs by Bairstow.
That's fantastic rim protection. Bairstow coming off a really good game, his best performance this season so far. Good start defensively by Adelaide.
Sunday Detch had 10 points in his first game of the season. Here he is with a wide open look for 3.
Yeah. Nice start for him, only playing his second game of the season and suffered a really bad corky, and it's kept him out for a while, but he looks sharp.
And that is going to be a big problem for Adelaide today. How do they stop a red-hot Joe Luala-Chul?
You can't. Last round, 16.5, 12.5 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks.
Yes.
That's the best center in the league right now, Gaze. Ooh.
Oh.
Talk to me.
Nice take by Withers. Straight at Luala-Chul. We talk game early.
Sorry, Jack, can we talk about the defense that we're expecting both these teams to play as? That's a very easy shot there by Chris Golding. It's deep, but you need to guard him a little tighter than that. It's also Agata with a little shake and bake, but it's also about the points. The Adelaide 36ers have been up and down, and it's really from the three-point line where they're getting a lot of their wins. When they get 10 or more, they win. They're 3-0, and if they're 9 or less three-point field goals made, they're 0-3.
Which is a big test for them against the best defensive team in the competition. Jack White helps himself to 2.
It's great to see him back in form and healthy. Last game he had 11 and 12 against Illawarra.
Melbourne 2 of 5 to start with from the field. Bairstow drives and scores. 19 points on Tuesday. He's started again well tonight.
Great take by the vet. It's so good to see him just healthy out there playing.
That's the key. Health is the key, and it's not understating it, though. If it wasn't for the Adelaide 36ers, Bairstow may not have had a job in our league. And they've thrown him a lifeline, and could be the recruit of the season.
Johnson using his size to his advantage over Jack White. Adelaide have got a 5-point lead early in this one.
A couple against the Perth Wildcats, didn't they? That first quarter really came out lights out. And 4 of 5 for the Adelaide 36ers for their 9 points.
McCarron pushes the issue for Detch. Luala-Chul drags in the rebound. 7th in the competition in this stat. 2nd in the competition in blocks.
You know what I love about it? As soon as he got the rebound, you knew what was about to turn over. You knew what he was going to do. First team, all green light.
The all-green light team. I tell you, his teammates not bad off as well. Agata, he's, I think, got the ultimate green light as well. So they've got 2 of their all-first-team green light team on the one starting 5.
Surely you coach that team.
Well, let's listen in to D.
Right now, all right? Not even close. You go to Mitch right now. You got Sunday. Hey, respect Sunday from the 3. Like, he's 50% on the year. You only played 1 game, but respect it right now. Get over the top of that. Down this end, they bullied you right now. You haven't been able to get to a screen. You make great setups. They're pushing everything weak right now. Set it up a little further. When you sprint, go ahead and make the flip, and we can move from there. All right? Next time, in a walk-up, let's get running with an Ingles right now and get you sprinting off some stuff. Come on. Let's go.
Well, Dean Bickerman there with his troops. Guys, I just wanted to point out that we may not see it tonight, but Melbourne United have the ability to run a court, 5 on the court, all Olympians, of course. Delhi and Golding win the bronze medal. You throw in Barlow and, of course, Brad Newley and then Caleb Agata and Bairstow on the other team. It'd be rare to see. It may not be a first, but certainly would be rare where a team's been able to run 5 Olympians. And shout out to Dave Barlow, 350th game. I was lucky enough to be there when he knocked down those 8 threes and 14 of 14 back in 2007. He is just a legend of the NBL, and congrats to Dave Barlow.
He sure is. We'll see him out there soon. Withers misses. Bairstow there to put it back in.
Well, they didn't listen to the advice of the coach. He talked about being bullied, and that was a classic example of being bullied. Withers down low, and the putback there by Bairstow.
They lead the rebound count by 2 as well. Adelaide, it's been one of their strong suits this season. Golding, feet set, yes.
That's twice he's been relatively open for him. That one was wide open.
Johnson, nice pass to Bairstow underneath. And you can hear Dean Bickerman in the background. He's not happy with the buckets from close range that Adelaide are getting.
They're doing a good job putting pressure on the defense, testing them, and they're getting high percentage plays and good finishes.
Bairstow has 6 points on 3 of 3. Adelaide, 6 of 9 from the field to start this game. Golding wraps around off the screen. Not that time.
Well, we're back to the same play. That little staggered screen along the bottom. Got another good look.
That'll be a foul off the ball on Agata.
That's really good recognition. They had the mismatch at Agata trying to guard Bairstow. And here's that bully ball that I talk about. Coming out of that timeout, Withers down low. Misses one that you'd normally expect him to make. But Bairstow in the right place at the right time. A perfect 3 of 3 from the field and a couple of rebounds to go with his 6 points.
And Adelaide are the only team in the competition so far to have won the rebound count in every game. There they are again. Johnson on the O-glass.
I mean, this is a big lineup the 36ers have. So there's mismatches everywhere. So it's not just, we just need to throw it to the center on the block. They're attacking whoever has the mismatch.
Nice pass, Dellavedova for White. He's got 4 points to start this game. A reminder, if you have just joined us, this big lineup that Adelaide are running without Isaac Humphries, listed as a mid-February return from a knee injury.
A real conscious effort to get to the glass by the Adelaide 36ers. They would have done their numbers and known that the Melbourne United, the best rebounding team in the competition, made a point of emphasis of it and getting rewarded with another O-boards and another easy bucket around the basket. DJ with the one-hand stuff.
That's just great effort. Be a second chance opportunity, chasing down loose balls. And we all know this, when you're shooting from the perimeter, chances are a guard is going to get the rebound. It's going to be a long rebound.
Wawala Chul fills it up from deep. That's 6 of 10 across the season from outside.
Best center in the league. Gaze, talk to me.
Yeah,
you saw what he did last round. So what he did last round, Duop Reef, gave him that work. And I love Duop Reef. Then he also gave Yanni Wetzel that work. Those two are the best 2 centers in the league. So when you go up head to toe, head to head, in a span of 72 hours and get it done, or maybe 48 hours, you got to give it to him.
Well, that's right. Here we see the work on the glass. Now, that's a long rebound, but well picked up, and a great little drop-off pass by McCarron. There's Dave Barlow. Spoke about his history. 350 games in the NBL. Played 19 seasons as a pro, 6 of them overseas, where he did some good things, represented Australia. And I'll be honest, I thought 3 or 4 years ago, this might be his last year. But he keeps himself in magnificent condition.
Look at his body.
He's not elite on the defensive end, but does enough with his basketball IQ. Look
horseshoe muscle
at the. It looked like there was a big Clydesdale that hit him in the back of the arm. But that's part of longevity.
Yeah.
And you know what else? You never underestimate the ability to put the ball in the hole.
That's right.
And he gets in the right places. He spreads the floor because he is a threat from the three-point line. And full credit to him. Congratulations, 350. That is a fantastic milestone. You know, when he was a junior, I saw him, and he was this guy that, you know, the and one tapes where you see all the ball handling through the... He was uber elite at that. And Al Westover, when he played for the Melbourne Tigers, actually tried to run him in the point guard spot. Now, it was a bit of an experiment, and he did have those capabilities, but he found his role as that guy that can play a bit of three, a bit of four, can guard the bigs. Like I said, not elite on the defensive end, but he's a warrior and a survivor and deserves all the accolades from him.
There he is, pops out for three. It's off hands and out of bounds. Courtside with John Casey.
Jack, I spoke with Dave Barlow pre-game just to congratulate him on the milestone. I said, is there any particular game that stands out? And we all know he doesn't say a heck of a lot. And he didn't want to buy into a particular game. I said, well, who's influenced you the most? He said, I have to say thank you to my family, his wife, his 3 kids, his mums and dad. He just wouldn't have been able to do this without their support. And I think that's Dave Barlow in a nutshell. Hey? He's so good, but he's always looking at the people that have helped him and wanting to thank them.
He's a wonderful family man, Dave. Pass errant from Hiram Harris. And I think that on Dave Barlow, the biggest judge for me is the amount of stuff on Twitter and social media in the last 24 hours from ex-teammates, teammates, etc., saying just how good a guy he is to play with. Newley drains the deep one. Nothing but positive stuff for Dave Barlow.
Well, that's right. And Brad Newley, he's another veteran of the competition. He's had his ups and downs this season with his playing time and finding that rhythm, but can't leave him that wide open from the three-point line with that type of time.
Kai Sotto on the floor for Adelaide. McCarron with his first points of the game, and that might just settle a couple of early nerves.
That's that matchup, him against Delhi.
Well, he's not really worried about his point. He is the general for the Adelaide 36ers. He distributes the ball. He's very good on the defensive end, and when he first came into the league, when he was with the Cairns Taipans, we saw more of that, and it was a bit more of a point of emphasis with his scoring, but he's so elite in the other areas now, it's not as critical for his overall contribution.
And he got a hand on that one too. Harris fouled on the way to the basket by Newley.
It was another good pickup. Hiram Harris, he's been bounced around a little bit, spent some time with a couple of teams, the Illawarra, and it was Cairns Taipans last season in
injury replacement play.
Desperate situation, and did some good things in the New Zealand League. Undersized, big, can play a bit of three as well, and played well against Perth. Gave him some quality minutes, 6 points.
Sotto couldn't control an awkward pass, and Newley off to the races. Hard man to stop when he's downhill.
Definitely, and when Melbourne United, you cannot turn the ball over against Melbourne United. They're going to shove it down your throat and score in transition, exactly like they just did.
Dusty Hannah's into the game as well, coming off the bench for this one. Straight into the action.
Very important for him to get off and have a good one. He's coming off a not-so-good performance with only 9 points. We're expecting big things from him this season. It's been a bit up and down.
Well, it's this end of the floor where I think he's got his biggest challenges. He doesn't seem as engaged as what he needs to be. Down this is what he's renowned for. He can shoot it, although his percentages from the three-point line are not great.
26%, Drewy.
Yeah.
You would think he, with the reputation that he had coming into this league, and the YouTube video and all that sort of stuff, Illy steps out, fills it up. You would think that those numbers would be a little better.
Well, his 14 points a game is solid, but he's only taken 19 field goal attempts, now 20. He's 6 of 20 on the season, so it's not horrific, but he came in with a reputation, and he's decided that if I'm going to come off the bench, I'm going to really test it. A couple of three-pointers to start with.
Illy's feed for Hookport was a good one. And the German next star's got free throws to come. Maybe Dusty Hannahs could come off the bench in the green light team, Corey.
Got to come in the game and be effective. You know, the pressure's really on you when you're an import. You got to come and put on.
Well, Leonard Copeland was talking about this last week, and just psychologically what it's like for an import coming off the bench. I think the dynamics have changed in recent times about that, particularly with 3 imports, although they don't have 3, but you know, in general, that it's not uncommon for imports to have a specific role. But in this lineup, there's no doubt the expectations for Dusty Hannahs that he would not be in that type of role.
Right.
He's playing some big, you know, he's playing averaging 27.5 minutes, so he's playing starter minutes, and I dare say he'd probably be close to that number again today. But as I mentioned, it's down this end of the floor with the defense is where he needs to just focus a little harder.
Mojave King out there as well now for the Adelaide 36ers. Both next stars in the game as we speak. Bairstow steps out. That's nothing but fresh air. Melbourne coach Dean Vickerman. How's this for a record as a coach in this league against Adelaide? 16 wins, 4 losses.
Yeah. 15-3 in regular season.
Yeah. Garda takes it straight up. Mojave King. Called for the foul.
Melbourne United have done a better job the back end of this first quarter, locking up on D and getting stops. Adelaide came out, got off to a good start, getting high percentage shots, and it resulted to about a 7-point deficit at one point in this quarter, if I'm correct. But they're doing a better job now locking up on defense. I'm sure Vickerman would not be happy with 24 points in the first quarter.
Considering that they are the #1 defensive team in the competition, Corey, they concede only 72 a game. Zagata makes 2 of 2. Let's get courtside to John Casey.
Jack, been a quarter of halves this. Adelaide were out 15-7 after 5 minutes. Since then it's 17-9 back the other way.
Swings and the twists and the turns in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
It's just this tough defense
It is.
United play. When they lock up and focus,
Yep.
you're not getting a bucket on this team.
And there's been some changes to the lineup, and as such, the offense hasn't been as smooth for the Adelaide 36ers, but give a lot of credit to the defense of the Melbourne United. We've seen this in a few games this season where Melbourne United have looked a little, come out of the blocks a little soft on the defensive end, but they have the ability to crank it up and go to another level.
Peatling sets the screen for Illy. Dives to the basket. That's short. 30 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Melbourne are closing the quarter in style. They've scored the last 7 points of the game. Agata reaching in is going to put King on the free throw line.
And those are the type of fouls you wouldn't want. Mojave King being aggressive. Which helped draw that foul. Now he goes to the free throw line for 2.
Mojave King, there's some nice wheels.
Oh, are they gazers?
They look like Delhi had kicked him some peakies. And probably, if you're looking for value for money, then the Daisies might just have the peaks, but hey,
Get out of it.
let the audience make that decision. But Mojave King is an interesting one. There they are, the Delhi ones. I think they are. 2s, whatever they are. I'm sure they're a quality product. But Mojave King came in when he came out of the
academy, right?
Yeah, AIS, the Australian Institute of Sport, or the High Performance Centre, whatever the title you want to give it these days. But in fairness, he has not reached the expectations that a lot of people thought. And last year, some were pointing the finger at Mike Kelly. Perhaps it wasn't Mike Kelly's situation.
Golding. Deep 3 late in the quarter. Melbourne might get another opportunity. Illy pulls up from mid-range, knocks it down. Big bucket to end the opening quarter. Melbourne have scored the last 9 points in the game. They might have been a little slow to get going, but they finished the quarter in impressive fashion. They lead it 26-24 at quarter time in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Quarter time in the Hungry Jacks NBL, the first of a massive Saturday doubleheader. Melbourne United lead after one, 26-24. It was all Adelaide in the opening stages of the game, but a quality team like Melbourne, you can't keep them down for long. And they finished the quarter with the last 9 points. The winner of our $50 Kmart gift card for tonight as well is Paula Simpson. Basketball is a family affair. It's as simple as that. Don't we just love hearing that sort of stuff, Andrew Gaze?
Absolutely love it. And I tell you what, the Adelaide 36ers wouldn't be loving is one, the fact that they gave up a pretty good start and trailed at the quarter time, and 1 of 6 from the free throw line. They're shooting at 53%. They lead the rebound count, and free throws, they can come back to haunt you.
Hook Porty out there to start the second quarter. Fighting for position on the low block with Bairstow. He turns him back around, and Cam Bairstow has 8 points on 4 of 6.
That's young bull, old bull tough stuff down below. Bairstow again just pulled his way into it, and let's not forget Bairstow spent a couple of seasons with the Chicago Bulls in the NBA. Had a fantastic career at New Mexico.
Yep.
And an Olympian.
2016 was part of the Rio team.
So you're talking about incredible experience, and you throw it to him on the box against a 19-year-old. He's got enough to still trouble, even though there's a bit of a size mismatch.
He's still only 31. He's had so many issues with injury along the way. Shouldn't forget that. He's 31 years of age. Hook Porty at the other end. Couldn't finish off. Loose ball falls to Peatling. Now Hook Porty tried to stuff it. It was too far out. Newly. Sanity restored for Mel.
This team is on a 6-game win streak. You have to box them out. They're already too good.
Of course they are.
To get second and third shot opportunities against your defense.
South Australian boy originally too. Brad Newley. Enjoying the rims here at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre.
Wow.
Nice pass.
Next one.
Adelaide did well to flood back. But Golding from well beyond the arc.
Turn it up.
Timeout, coach.
Well, they are letting it fly from the three-point line. They've had 22 field goal attempts, 13 are coming from the three-point line, and why wouldn't you when you've already knocked down 6 of them?
Second in the competition in three-point shooting percentage. It's been their best friend for much of this game so far. McCarron up top to respond for Adelaide. He can't. Newley is fouled. And 1.
They get a stop. They are off to the races. Your defense better get back set.
It is, and when you get Chris Golding, as soon as he steps over the centre line, you need to guard him. And not enough ball pressure. And Newley doing what he does best. He's already knocked down a couple of threes. He gets his confidence up and drives to the basket and gets downhill, which even at his age, one of the best in the competition at getting downhill.
CJ Bruton calling a timeout.
After he fell down is when he put his arm around him. That's how I saw the play.
He held Bairstow, not Todd. That's what I was saying.
I gotcha.
Arguing the point, there was senior official Michael Aylen. Let's go into the Adelaide huddle.
You've got the message, right? But again, hey, good energy on the box out, make hits. Macca made a great decision to go and swipe it out. The effort to get back, to get in the play, and to give Goulding a shot. Hey, offensive rebounds, where's the ball going? Let's know. Hey, you got the play, execute, get it to second side. Here we go. Deep breath, let's go.
8 minutes to play in the first half at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, a venue where Melbourne have themselves a fantastic record last year in the Hungry Jacks NBL. They won both of their games, 24 points in round 1 and 22 points in the final round.
Extremely comfortable playing in that building.
Well,
we are home, away from home. That's what Melbourne United is saying.
Another one of the legends, or previous legends of the NBL, John Riley, he's tuned in over there in the United States.
Shout out to the real deal. What's going on, my former
teammate? And he said, how is Corey Homicide Williams talking about the All Green Light team? He says, you're the captain coach of the All Green Light team. So, it's And he played with you, so he would have a full appreciation of how perhaps you may not have hit him on the numbers like he always wanted to.
The first play in every quarter was for really.
Yeah, but what about the next, the next 15?
Every 3 plays is how I would do it. Every 3.
Nice pass, Johnson.
Big to big. Use their size inside amongst the traffic. Some really good pass to get an easy 2, much needed 2.
Cambesto into double figures. Brad Newley, first player into double figures this afternoon. A reminder, Adelaide led 24-17. Melbourne went on a 17-2 run to get the game on their terms. That'll be a Melbourne ball that the officials want to have a chat about.
Well, Shea Illy, they've decided to give him a flop warning for a bit of flopping down the other end.
0.8, 8/10 of a second left on that shot clock.
Enough time to catch and shoot.
Wallachul can't get it to go.
Couldn't get it to hit the rim either, so it's a shot clock violation.
Brad Newley's game today. He has 10 points on a perfect 4 of 4. In his last 6 games has only scored collectively 9 points. This is what's so tough about this team, Corey, that someone's always going to come at you.
And that's the depth of Melbourne United. You don't have to rely on your starters to get this thing going at both ends.
Pass. What a pass. Had to thread the needle. The time it was Withers to get it to TJ.
Peatling left open up top. Has got a good percentage from outside this season, Mason Peatling. That's 6 of 11.
And it's a tough one. I can understand why you'd want to go underneath or offer some help on Peatling. DJ there just wanted to provide a little bit more assistance to McCarron as he tried to fight over the top. There's this pass I was talking about with Withers. That is just a beautiful pass. And you see Peatling, see DJ. He's right off trying to cover Illy. I don't think he needs to go that far. He needs to help. But when you're doing that, it's the weak side guy that's got to come and at least stunt at Peatling. You can't just let him line the laces up and get the ball in the seams and have that much time for a 3 ball.
Back to where they started here, Melbourne. Dellavedova, late in the clock, goes to Peatling. Had the size advantage on Sunday Detch.
Well, that time they switch. They run the switch and they penalise another way. So they've got to really think about how they're going to deal with these on balls because they've beaten them both ways.
It's a 9-point lead off the back of it, 13-6. Make that 13-8. Second quarter.
Well, Besto's in the zone. He's 6 of 8 from the field. He's got 12 points.
Wallachul putting it on the floor.
Best center
scoring
in the league. You saw that move, Gabe?
I did. It was very nice. Very nice. When you put the ball to the deck, the closeout came a little bit late. And he turned a decent shot for him into a really good one by putting it to the floor.
Withers get himself to the free throw line. Hashtag NBL22 to give us your thoughts. Is Joe Wallachul the best center in the league right now?
Floater.
Well, with the skill sets he saw on the bench, he saw Dave Barlow, some of the reaction like, gee, that's pretty tough, because it was. And he's one of those guys that, these days, you talk about positionless basketball, yeah, you could call him a 5, but he could easily play alongside in the 4 spot because he can shoot it. You saw he can put it to the deck, and he's not terrible down the other end on the defense. And of late, he's been a rebounding fool. He's been great on the glass, back-to-back double-doubles in his last 2 games. So a real concerted effort on the glass as well.
What do you think the responses will be like on Twitter, Corey? Do you think many will agree with you that JLA is the best center in the competition right now?
A lot of people don't like to agree with me when I'm right because they just don't want to agree with me.
Of course not.
But we know the real. That's the best center in the league right now.
Golding,
and that's
bottom
the
of the
best
net.
shooting guard in the league, too. CG43 heating up. This is home away from home for Melbourne United in this building.
This is becoming concerning for Adelaide now. Let's drive with us.
Yeah, early on in the first quarter, they were doing a good job with the less than aggressive defence by Melbourne United in the half court, but they were getting out and picking up some transition basket or early offence. We haven't seen a lot of that since. Melbourne United, yeah, their half court's really picked up. Chris Golding,
my goodness!
off the bounce, knocks down another three. This is
Best shooter in the league, Gaze.
That's been for quite some time, Corey.
But let's talk about it again, right now.
Well,
we got to keep going off what we see.
And we're seeing
Oh, my goodness.
something very special. And
Look at the poise. Look at the poise. All right, not yet, not now.
with us.
Okay.
And that's not a bad effort either. Probably a half a step tighter, maybe. 12 points, 4 of 7 from the three-point line. All his points coming from there.
Oh, man.
And this is a tough proposition when Chris Golding is in this frame of mind, because he can shoot it from anywhere, off the bounce, the catch and shoot, and 2 or 3 metres behind the three-point line, no problem. No problem for him whatsoever.
47-35. As Melbourne head into their timeout. If you were CJ Bruton right now, we'll stay out of their huddle, what would CJ be talking to his group about?
Well, I think it's about defence. You can't give up this many points, 47 points, and we've still got 4.5 to go in the second. And it's not like they're in bad positions, it's just not good enough. It's that ball pressure. When Chris Golding comes off that on ball, someone's got, the screener's man's got to be coming out, digging at that ball. Dig at that ball, make him have a retreat dribble, even get it out of his hand, even consider maybe blitzing a couple of times, changing it up, getting it into different people's hands. And the problem is with that is that they've got so many different options, and that's the way this Melbourne United team has been built. So it's a tough one, but just you've got to crank your aggression up on the defensive end. And then offensively, it's hard when you've got up against a team that put big numbers on the floor. But in that first 6 seconds of your offence, look to explore. You see, because we saw it in that first 5 minutes. Getting it down there, getting it to the rim before they're up against an established defence. When they're going up against an established defence and one of the best defences in the competition, it puts enormous pressure on your defence down the other end because they're so tough to stop offensively.
Great of the Adelaide Entertainment Centre staff as well to share a bit of Andrew Gay's Spotify playlist during that timeout. Bit of Earth, Wind and Fire.
Love it. Love it.
Why am I not surprised?
That's
Would that be on your Spotify list, Corey?
I like Earth, Wind and Fire. But speaking of that, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh.
You didn't know I was a Celine Dion fan? Let's talk about that. My shirt said Celine. It's a brand.
Was it?
It's a brand. It's a
There's
brand.
nothing wrong with Celine. And shout out to Celine, who's had to cancel her concerts. I love it. Oh, Jack White.
I love her too. She had one of the best songs ever.
My word. And some pipes.
Go on.
Just like this guy here, Jack White on your screen. Off the bounce, gets to the rim with the left. Look at this.
Too strong. Too athletic. Great finish. And one. Shows emotion. Who's stopping Melbourne United?
Well, I think there are a number of teams that have got some, it's a tough assignment, but I think Illawarra with, I know they weren't able to do that last week.
They had their chance last Sunday,
but they had their chance, but when your team, look at a team that's built to play defence, and with Brian Goorjian at the helm, they would be well equipped to do it. Southeast Melbourne did a good job of putting some pressure on you, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to... That's true. That's true. You're going to have to score.
Gotta score.
There's only so much you can do against this really good defense, the offensive team as well. We talk about Melbourne United's defense. The reason why they're so good is they can do it at both ends of the floor.
Great pass, Mason Peatling. Saw that Luala Chul had the seal on with us. Just floated it up there. And more free throws to come.
Play so unselfish. They look for each other. They care. You can see with the play.
Well, you see also what CJ's doing. He's looking at all different options here. Isaac Katorna getting some time. He's only played in the one game. Hasn't scored yet. Only the one field goal attempt. Now that's just trying to find a combination out there, mix it up, give them different looks. But this is, I don't know what about Isaac, but he's to be thrown into a situation like this. It says more about the challenges that Adelaide are having, and CJ trying to find some combinations that can stop the bleeding.
One of their development players this season. Played last year in Perth in NBL1 with the Redbacks. Sotto. Met upstairs by Luala. Big man kept going.
That's the talent that he has and the heart. We've been waiting to see this. He's been injured early in his first half of the season, first quarter of the season. But great putback by Sotto.
Inside 3 minutes to play before half-time. Let's check in with John Casey courtside.
Thanks, Jack. Delhi goes to work here. And Jack White kicks outside. They're coming at Adelaide in so many different ways at the moment, Melbourne. But just an update on Isaac Humphries. Not playing tonight. Won't suit up against Illawarra on Monday. Unlikely to play next weekend either against Tasmania and in the return match against Melbourne next Sunday due to that knee problem. So they're going to have to do it without Isaac Humphries at least for the next 4 games.
And Case, just a little bit on Isaac Gatorno, who's only played the 1 game, and the thing I like about this kid, apparently he tried out with the team last season, wasn't there, and then went back and as I understand it, funded his own way back to the Adelaide 36ers to be with the team, to get in front of the team, and was given a shot, just a shot to become a DP, and got that opportunity. But you got a little bit more on this?
Yeah, it's a great story, Drew. A very good point you make. He did make all those sacrifices because he thought, I believe that he belongs in this league. He's a tremendous young kid as well. He played in Perth during the NBL1 season over in WA and averaged 18 points, 7 boards. Can do it all, and I'm glad to see him getting some minutes here.
22 years of age.
Love the stories when young players back themselves despite the odds, because it's not easy to do.
Yeah, and you look at 51 points already for Melbourne United, and here's the thing, not one single point coming from Matthew Dellavedova, who had 33 in their last outing.
That's the depth of this team.
Correct, that's the point I'm making.
So, speaking of Delhi's game, right?
There's Hannes, deep on the 3.
Would you change the scout playing against Delhi after a game like that?
Not yet. No. One swallow doesn't make a summer.
Exactly. I'm with you.
You might give him a little less of a leash, but no, I don't think you do. They're the types of players I was talking about. Relatively early on in the offense. That first 6 to 8 seconds coming down, putting some pressure on it. Now, if it's not on, then you can go through your sets and try and create something. But up against an established Melbourne United defense, it's tough.
They've scored the last 6 points now.
Sotto's
36ers.
Got a board, and
his first points in the NBL this season.
It is.
Recently.
Impressive 2 points.
And the internet data between the Philippines and Australia after that dunk just went off because of the impact this guy's had already in his early career. He is loved in the Philippines, and why not? Such is the talent that he produces. He's been shown throughout his junior years.
He rolls to the basket. McCarron falling away off the front of the iron. And Newley looks for Barlow. Good look as well. Barlow had that one jump out of the cylinder.
Real good look.
10-point lead to Melbourne. And that scored Adelaide by 8 this quarter. Nice play defensively, Golding. Get a hand on it.
I mean, just way to not give up on the play, because if he did, that wraparound pass would have been there. That's why they're the best defensive team in the league. Plays like that.
Guarded by Bairstow. Wants to drive this time, and with the left hand, couldn't lay it up. Hook Porty. And it's slapped out of his hands by McCarron. Melbourne have got 13 left on the shot clock.
Right there, you saw an example of where Sotto has to improve. That shot went up. He was just there relying on his size. At this level, and if he gets an opportunity, he's got to go in, and straight away, he should have been stepping into Hook Porty and making sure that he didn't get it.
There is Hook Porty for a wide open Dave Barlow. He's had a couple of looks from deep. 0 from 3 in this game. Hannah's driving. Foul. Gets him to go on a free throw to come.
And again, early offense. Push it down the floor. Get running. And good job by Dusty Hannahs there. And another good find by McCarran.
What would his mindset be coming off the bench?
Well, they would have had this conversation possibly days ago and said, this is what we're thinking. We got Sunday Detch who's come back. We're up against a solid, experienced offensive team, and we need more defense. Just going out here and trying to outscore Melbourne United is not going to get it done. So I suspect that that's why that conversation would have been had, and sends a message also to Dusty Hannahs to say, well, we like what you can do on the defense.
You better come in here and play some defense.
You need to maybe pick it up a little.
Shot clock and game clock almost in unison. Melbourne finished the first quarter with a bucket. They won't that time. Bairstow from a long way out. And it's Melbourne who take a lead in the half-time, 51-44. Looking to make it 7 games in a row. They've put themselves in a good spot at the half.
And it is after an indifferent start. Dean Vickerman calls a timeout, and straight away you see the change on the defensive end. Now, Adelaide 36 is still shooting it really well at 51%, but the intensity, they got pushed out of it a little bit, and great performance by Melbourne United.
Let's get to John Casey.
Thanks, Jack. I've got Brad Newley here. I know your dad Arthur's in the house and lots of fans. Good to be back in Adelaide and playing well.
Yeah, it's nice to come to my place of birth. You know, good half for us. Probably let ourselves go a little bit in the end there. We had a double-figure lead. Now it's 7, so we need to fix that up.
Your best game for a while, but you have really been hit hard with COVID, you told me pre-game.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mix-up. You know, it's part of the process. I guess maybe being older, it took a bit longer. But been training well, so just it was a matter of getting onto the game, you know.
How do you stay on top of Adelaide in the second half?
Oh, just second chance points. They've beasted us on the board. It's pretty hard. And just a few, like, silly fouls, those kind of things.
Great to see you here. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, Johnny.
Brad Newley there from Melbourne United, who hold a 7-point lead at halftime. Adelaide led by as many as 8 during the opening quarter, but it was a 19-2 run bracketed across quarter time that has put United on top in the driver's seat. We'll have more for you from Adelaide and the Hungry Jacks NBL in just a moment.
company in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Melbourne in front at half-time at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. 51-44, looking to make it 7 games in a row. And after a little bit of a slow start in this game, they roared to life and have a nice lead at half-time.
Well, they do, and I think that we spoke about it just before the break, about the way in which Melbourne United were able to crank up their defence, really efficient on the offensive end. The Adelaide 36ers haven't done a lot wrong. 5 of 11 from the from the free throw line is not going to get it done, and 3 of 13 from the three-point line. As we said, they are 3-0 when they make 10 three-pointers. They are 0-3 when they make a 9 or less. So the three-point line has statistically been important to it, and they've only made their 3 of 13. Chris Golding's been great. Brad Newley coming off the bench with those 10 points. Bairstow was fantastic, particularly early on. And DJ, he just does what he does week in, week out. One of the more consistent guys. And there you see the shooting percentage that I'm talking about. Free throw line and three-point line for the Adelaide 36ers, and just really consistent across the board. The assists, the rebounds, not a lot of difference. One of the big stories is 16 points to 28 points inside the paint.
Yeah.
28 of those are at the hand of the Adelaide 36ers. They've been doing a great job of getting into the paint. When they get in there, they've been able to be really efficient, shooting it at 51% from the field. They just need to do that a little bit more. And 3 of 13, knocked down a few threes, and this game's a completely different ballgame.
Corey, I'm not sure if there is a way to stop Chris Golding when he's in the mind frame that he is right now, but maybe that might be the biggest thing for CJ Bruton and the 36ers to focus on at half-time, because this man is shooting the lights out.
Yeah, when you get your first shot wide open, it's nothing but nylon. You're going to feel good. He's a world-class shooter. We know this. He's comfortable in any building in this country, let alone this building. His winning percentage here is great. And when you start hitting tough shots early, easy open shots early, you get to hitting these tough shots early because you start feeling it. All green from the left side. Coach, send him to the right. Look, the shot clock, the shot chart don't lie. Let him go right. He's killing you on the left, Coach. Send him right.
That is it. Easier said than done, though, when you're out there and you're dealing with those screens. But I think you're right in the sense that if you are setting a screen and you're going to rely on that help, we saw Withers that one time, came out, and for most people, it was the right type of contest, but not for Chris Golding. You've got to come out, dig at the ball, make him retreat dribble. Don't let him just take one dribble coming off an on-ball screen and be able to get that 3-ball off.
Sorry, just to recap, you wanted him to go right? Is that what you're saying?
Send him right, Coach. Somebody screen shoot the shot chart.
Well, he went with the right off the on-ball. I think he can go both ways.
He can go anyway.
It's just that a lot of those threes that he's made have come from the left side of the court. But yeah, he can go both ways off the dribble.
Well, Cam Bairstow's had a very different game for the Adelaide 36ers. He's been getting it done underneath the basket. 14 points at half-time to go with 6 rebounds. He's in a rich vein of form right now.
It's a beautiful thing to see this man healthy. He's young. He's only 31. It's so many of us that haven't had an opportunity to see him play a full season, let alone half a season. So we really don't know what he's able to do, but it's on full display tonight. Great positioning to get easy buckets. He's tough. He can shoot. He's hitting the mid-range. He has it going on in this first half.
Well, he's certainly a candidate for the All Green Light team because...
for sure. When he getting it, he's going up.
There's not a lot of doubt about what's going to happen once he gets it. But when he's shooting it like this, he's 7 of 10 from the field. He's got those 6 boards. And when he's in this type of form, you don't mind going to him. You've got to create your structure to allow him to be the finisher. But if you put him in, sometimes when he gets in those playmaker type situations, sometimes the decisions aren't always what the coach would like.
Gee, I can't wait for the selection meeting in the All Green Light team. As we head to the break, you too can play like a pro and get the green light thanks to Bunnings Warehouse, who are giving you the chance to win your very own court at home. You can enter now at win.nbl.com.au/Bunnings.
I was out there every day, so I think if I had a full court, you wouldn't get me inside.
Most of the games I played on the lower hoop, just to show my supreme athleticism.
I only worked on shooting, which is why that's really all I can do.
When you're 8 years old or 10 years old, it's the best thing in the world.
I had a basketball hoop and a little trampoline. I used to play back there for hours with my brother and get beat up a lot, but it was a lot of fun in the meantime.
I hope that one day when I grow up, I'll be able to give
my kids are caught at home as well.
That's where I lost a lot of games to my brother at.
It started at this height, and every year I got older, it moved higher and higher until I got to 10 foot, and I'm doing the same with my kids back at home.
My dad built one, so I had a little bit of like a half court going on, and that made my life the best, so I could never complain as a kid.
And that was kind of like our sanctuary, our getaway from everything.
Welcome back to Adelaide. 36ers down by 7 at halftime. But CJ, you're shooting the ball at 50%. You're leading the rebound count. There's a lot going right.
There is a lot going right and a lot of miscues here and there, as always in a basketball game. Gordon's come out to play. Let him loose a few times. He makes you pay. We've got to do a better job on him, but that's just a little part of the game plan. I'm happy with where we're going with the ball and the way that we're using it. Clearly, with all the games coming up in a row, we've got to keep finding that balance. But the effort's been great from where we've been at, and we need to continue that and then continue to do the good things on the glass with our intensity on defense.
And just a quick word on Dusty Hannahs coming off the bench tonight. Was that a difficult conversation?
It wasn't a difficult conversation. Dusty's all about the team. And I would like to give him more minutes because I know what he's capable of doing. And right now, the way that the Melbourne have been playing, I was being reluctant, but who knows? There's always a second half, and that score can change pretty quickly with Dusty Hannahs on the floor.
Good luck. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
CJ Bruton with John Casey. That's Joe Luala-Chul putting a lid on it first up. Start the third quarter. They've done a reasonable job of keeping him quiet. Withers with a wide open look. Bairstow offensive rebound. Luala-Chul went straight up.
Withers is another one. Played those 17 minutes. Here's Luala-Chul with the point guard duties, bringing the ball down.
Hands off for White. Johnson sat off him.
But Withers, 7 points, 2 of 5 in the game so far. Only had the 1 rebound. You just need to try, I think, find ways, and you can see them going to him early in the start of the second, trying to find ways to get him more involved. Oh, now, Sunday catch from...
That's a big hit.
And there's a guy that really has added that to his game. When he first came in as a DP, playing in Perth, that really wasn't one of his strengths. And just through sheer work, being able to put the volume of work in required to become a whole lot better at it.
Absolutely. He was a guy that wasn't getting any playing time the first couple of years with the Wildcats. So for him to get better, you got to add value to yourself. So you got to continue to work on your game. And he's done that. He's done that.
He certainly has. Played Division II college basketball in the States, in Florida, I believe it was, and worked his way up the chain through hard work.
He's been doing a lot of work with Brett Maher as well. Jack White couldn't finish off. Luala Chul kept fighting for it and scores. He's got 12 points.
They're hustle plays. These are hustle plays.
Yes. You cannot get out-hustled on your home court if you're trying to win against a team this tough. Because when you really think about it, you take the hustle plays out and win those battles, box out, and hit free throws, you're winning.
Game. It's a
you're
different
up.
game. Yeah. Ooh, that's dangerous to switch.
Agata short. Only 2 points so far, and both of those for Caleb Agata have come from the free throw line. McCarron put him off skates and found Sunday Ditch.
Spent them all the way around.
You look at the numbers between the marquee matchup between McCarron and Dellavedova, and statistically, it doesn't look all that flash, but both these guys can contribute to their team in so many different ways, a lot of intangibles. And they're not... Dellavedova being a little quiet, but still contributing at both ends.
Agata had to give it up in the end. White left open for 3. He says, do that at your peril. Now he's up to 10 points. That's 4 Melbourne players in double figures. Adelaide have only got 1. And that man is Bairstow, who rolls to the basket for 2 more. He's 16 points, the leading scorer in the game.
Textbook on-ball offense. Simple on-ball screen, the roll-off pass wide open.
Coming into this game averaging 12 points. There's Dellavedova filling it up from outside for his first points. Off the back of 33 last Sunday that we spoke about against Illawarra, which was his highest score in NBA, NBL and college. Ever.
It's just a fantastic performance against his Boomers coach.
It was, and here we see CJ again looking at different options. Manny Malou is coming on to the floor to see his first action. He spent some time on the sidelines with some injury issues as well. He's an energy guy that he can bring off the bench, play that 3 or 4 spot. And this is a big lineup. Look at the lineup they're going with now, the Adelaide 36ers. So CJ really trying to throw something different out there, give different looks.
On the floor at the moment, Malou, McCarron, Johnson, Detch, and Soto's just been subbed back in.
Some good size out there. Sotto DJ combo with a guy that can play a little bit of 4 in Malou as well.
Now Hook Porty trying to back in on Kai Sotto and get to his left hand. He's fouled, and he's getting himself back on the strike.
Tough seeing the young next stars go at it.
Got him in the air.
Like to see them match up. I like those matchups to see the young fellas go at it.
A little head fake. Well, we saw 2 of the young stars going head-to-head today, with Josh Giddey going against a LaMelo Ball. And what a story both those 2 guys have been and the impact they have. The 2 youngest ever players to get triple-doubles in the NBA. And here's the thing, I was watching that game today, and we've got one of the biggest tournaments in the World Cup, junior tournaments in the world, coming up in Victoria. And when you think 2 years ago,
He was in it.
Josh Kitty calls me up and says, "Hey, Drewy, I needed some bird. Can I come and play with your under-20 team?"
What?
So he comes and plays in that tournament, and literally 24 months later, he's getting a triple-double in the NBA. Now, that's how, firstly, talented it is, but how quickly things can change when you put your head down, you work your tail off, and, of course, you've got immense talent.
He did some fantastic things with the Adelaide 36ers last year as well. That's off a foot. Fair to say that 36ers fans warmed to him pretty quickly.
Oh, it's not hard.
No.
A walking triple-double.
Man.
How much of his success are you claiming, by the way?
Not much at all. His dad and his mum deserve all the credit in the world. They've produced an even better person than a basketball player, and that is saying something because he's an outstanding basketball player.
Melbourne running the floor. Agata threw it up there for Hookporty.
Danger time right now. The ease at which Melbourne United have come out this second half and are scoring. Alarm bells would be ringing for the Adelaide 36ers.
You have to match Melbourne United, let alone any team in this league, with intensity for 40 minutes. You cannot slow down.
And Manny Malou bringing some of that energy that you were talking about, Drewy.
Yeah, he can do that. Big-time scorer in the NBL1 competitions. Last season played in the Northern NBL1.
With Mackay. Yep.
Put up some really good numbers.
This Hookporty on the low block again. Took it straight at Kai Sotto.
Tough left-hand finish. And the thing is, Melbourne United can shoot the three, so a lot of those, there was no weak side defense. It was just one-on-one.
Well, here we see the dunk in transition. Agata, Hookporty, as easy as you like. Down the other end, when you're trailing by 10, you can't afford the types of turnovers they just had. DJ tried to get into McCarron. Little fumble. Ball bounced on the baseline. Turnover.
Melbourne out by double figures. And this one's been working for them. So back down to Hookporty. Back to the left hand. He goes. And two more.
And you know what I liked about it? He scored the last 2 times. He's feeling good. Give him the ball. And that's exactly what they did, and he scored. And that was a beautiful hook shot.
Got into the paint, little floater. Hannes is creative. He came as a lights-out three-point shooter. He's clearly more than that.
Dellavedova feeds Jack White. He rolls to the basket. He's had a good afternoon. That's 12 points to go with 4 rebounds.
When you think of Dusty Hannes, he hasn't shot the ball as much. You know, we talk about he's only had 20 three-point field goal attempts in, what's this, his 7th game. That's not a lot.
You got to be out there and be aggressive.
I remember seeing him his first NBL Blitz game, and he would have been a walk-up start to the green light team.
Yeah, man, you got to be out there and be aggressive. You're not going to, look, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. You're not going to be out there a long time.
He hopes to be.
So let's get busy while you're out there.
That's right. Well, it is a tough league. A lot of talented players, so there is that adjustment period that you've got to go through, but starting to get into a reasonable body of work that we've seen, and he can play. There's no doubt about it. Dusty Hannes can play.
6 seconds off the inbound for the 36ers.
But the thing is this, right? He's played in Europe, right?
Well, he put up big numbers. A couple of seasons ago, he averaged over 20 in the G League.
You got to be in this league aggressive as an import.
Played at Arkansas, played in SEC, so a big-time conference with a big-time school, so he's used to big moments. And that's a goaltend, I think.
Those points are going to count. 21 points in the G League last season for the Memphis Hustle Drewies you spoke about, and they shot the 3 ball at 44%.
You gotta be out here aggressive, man. Not this passive stuff. It ain't gonna get it done. Gage, it ain't gonna get it done.
Just to give a little bit more than what he's doing, but he's finding his way.
The lead is 10. Newley spinning to the basket. Nice deep from Malou. Forced Newley into a tough look, and then Sotto was fouled over the back by Hookporty. 9 points and 6 rebounds for Ariel Hook-Porty in 11 minutes. Up on his season production. Still to come after the crossover, Illawarra and Perth at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. We told you that both games were huge tonight. That one is massive. And the Wildcats will be looking to bounce back, no question about it. Here's Todd Withers.
Looking forward to seeing that one coming up next.
We're going to have ourselves a little bit of Hungry Jacks. Reload.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, we are.
That's coming up straight after the crossover. It's Saturday Night Hoops. Long rebound falls to Hook-Porty. Now he shares with Newley.
That's not going to look good on the tape when they do the review. That last shot bounced back. Withers was at the three-point line and he was off the races before the ball had been secured. Trailing by 8 against an elite rebounding team. Just got to be bodies in there. And CJ makes the call, gives him a spell.
Inside 2 minutes to play before three-quarter time. Adelaide looking to make it 4 wins from their last 5 games. They're finding themselves down 8. Bairstow late in the clock. It's been a bit sloppy this possession.
Clunky, real clunky. A lot of deflections. And now getting, looked like almost a little outworked on that defensive transition. Yeah, they're running back. But you really got to put the Jets on, build a wall behind that ball, take away those easy transition baskets. Sunday Dench coming up with his second personal foul.
Free throws for Mason Peatling.
Just going back to the Josh Giddey conversation, 21-point career high in the NBA today. 29. Let's not forget about them. I think he had 9 rebounds as well.
9 rebounds.
And we're not the only ones eating Hungry Jacks tonight. Look at some hungry young Adelaide basketball fans. The code word is dribble. If you live in the state of South Australia, like our man John Casey, you can chow down courtesy of Mason Peatling.
Beautiful take. Adelaide bring it back to 6.
It is.
2-possession game.
They're on a 6-0 run. Bairstow.
Like the rebound. Above the rim, Sotto.
His 6th. McCarron underneath. Changed his shot late because of the presence of Luala Chul.
And it was more perceived pressure than actual pressure. Just went up and overcooked it.
Now McCarron drags it in. 11-second differential between the game and shot clock. So all things being equal, Melbourne should have the last possession. Well, they certainly will now.
And plays like that cannot happen. Self-inflicted wounds.
Well, it is, and that's their 10th turnover for the game. Melbourne United, on the flip side, has only had 5, which is... That's taking care of the ball. 5 turnovers at this stage is something Dean Vickerman would be really happy with.
Adelaide 9th out of 10 in the competition for turnovers a game. It's been an issue for them again today. 5 seconds left. Golding from so far out. It was nearly in another postcode. Luala Chul, offensive rebound, doesn't go.
How do you not guard Golden back there?
We got to. You can't.
You got to put a hand up.
You got to have a hand touching the ball to at least make him think about it. Now it rattled in, almost rattled around, almost went in. And come up short, and just on that Hungry Jacks, I heard a story too that CJ, you know when your coaches get a win, you're all up and about, and against the Adelaide 36, I think it was Matt Hodgson, and apparently CJ used to work with Hodgson during the, and after the game, CJ had his kids with him, went through Hungry Jacks and got the free burgers. He actually, the coach got the free burgers But he sent a picture of him with his sons having a burger, thanking Hodgson for his former player, thanking him for the burgers.
It's 72-64 at three-quarter time. I'm getting hungry just thinking about that. We're going to quarter to play at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Can Melbourne make it 7 games in a row? I'm sure he wasn't smiling. We certainly are. We've got the fourth quarter coming up next. Three-quarter time at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Melbourne leading 72-64. As hard as Adelaide are trying, they just can't seem to get close enough to put the heat on Melbourne right now.
Well, you know, if you did just the eye test, you'd actually think Melbourne United had more of a lead than they actually do. I think that this is still very much a ball game, and they're hanging around. You've just got to find a way to take care of the ball. Things can change, particularly on your home deck. So they've done enough to keep themselves in the contest. Oh dear,
that's a loose one.
If they can string together stops,
that's
consecutive stops, rebound the ball, hit some free throws and a couple perimeter shots. This is Adelaide's game to win.
Bairstow guarded by Golding. Double team comes. Sunday Detch decides to take it himself. McCarron heads up play, doesn't go.
We had one more pass. DJ standing there. This is fourth quarter. There's usually DJ time. And that's what we're talking about, a man who shooters need short memories. 20 seconds prior, he threw almost an air ball over the rim. The very next time down, comes down and just had a short memory, had that confidence and was able to step in and knock down a three.
It's 5 of 10 from outside now for Chris Golding.
But getting back to that point, that's where Sunday Dench, he came through, and this Chris Golding in that walk-in three after he'd just thrown up an air ball. But Sunday Dench down the other end, penetration, caused the help. The defense was in rotation. DJ standing there wide open, just kick it to DJ for a wide open three. And DJ's only had 6 field goal attempts, 8 points and 4 rebounds in 22 minutes.
He's had 8 points since halftime.
He needs more touches.
Of course.
That's what I'm saying. That was one where it's a wide open one.
Offensive rebound by the captain, McCarron. Gives Adelaide another look at it. Detch spinning into the paint. And that's rebound number 8 for Joe Luala-Chul. He's had back-to-back double-doubles. He's on track to make it 3 in a row. 14 points as well. Illy, tough finish.
Nash-like play. It's just made.
Getting serious now. Not the start they wanted for this fourth period. Almost have to consider burning a timeout.
They've scored the last 7 in the game, Melbourne. And they look locked on defensively, Corey.
Adelaide get to score in this fourth.
Detch with the job of trying to stop Golding.
Are you kidding me? Oh, my goodness. Yo, listen. This man is out here playing pickup in Adelaide.
Well, this
comfortable at home or on the road.
Well, this is an example where your upper body and your hands take over because his feet were pointing the wrong direction.
It pointed at us.
It's 80 to 64.
And we're 1,000 kilometres away.
This should apply to everyone on the road.
How do you stop that?
Oh, it is tough. It's tough.
Stop that.
It's a thing of beauty when you get in this mode and you see, this is Steph Curry.
Oh, man.
Some of those wild shots where feet aren't the right way, good pressure. And just love it when you see shooters in this mode because it's not like anyone on the 36ers doesn't know what's happening either. They're out there trying to contest and get hands on the ball. And I see Mo King there, only played a minute in this contest.
80 to 64. Adelaide need to stay within reach of Melbourne right now. It's Melbourne leading by 16 on the back of world-class shooting from this man.
Look where his feet are.
That's just disrespect.
Feet were facing the other basket, twisting but that's just beautiful hands. Elbow gets in the right place, spot on follow through, and good enough to generate some energy and knocks down a tough one.
There's Lawala finishing underneath.
Runs the
Red
floor.
flags everywhere for the 36ers.
Runs the floor like a deer. That's the thing about Melbourne United. They're so deep. The first one down the court's getting the ball, so they were all just sprinting real quick and get easy layups like that.
I need more of that from Todd Withers. Breaks a run of 12 straight points for Melbourne. He's looked a little frustrated this afternoon, Withers. Only the 7 field goal attempts. 4 makes them. 10-3 in the fourth quarter. Lawala over the top of Sotto.
Soft hands. Just puts it up on the rim, gets the favourable bounce, but another tough shot over the big fella Sotto.
It's just impressive work JLA putting together. Not just this game, but the last few games he's had. When your big is coming to play at this level at both ends of the court, extremely tough to beat.
Ariel Hookporty checks into the game. Dusty Hannah's in now for Adelaide also as Lawala sits down for Melbourne. Illawarra and Perth to come after the crossover. Fouls on Golding.
You look at Kai Sotto and what he can bring. He is a DP in the true sense of the word. He's got really good tools, big guy, moves well. Reminds me a lot of Harrison from Brisbane.
Yep.
A few, that type of development, and he can start to have a more significant role. But he's certainly got some great tools to work with.
Oh my goodness! Look at that emotion, that aggression. That's how you attack the paint, big fellas.
It certainly is, and that's not how to defend those circumstances.
We talk about young stars with potential. 19 years of age. He'll be part of next year's NBA draft, Ariel Hookporty. The way he's playing, it's just a question of where.
It is, and he's had to serve a very short apprenticeship as well. Chris Golding, early on, not seeing a lot of time, showing a little bit of frustration, getting into foul trouble, but he's figured out the league and figured out his role real quickly. Here it is, there's the trail. Sotto is in no man's land, and it's just an easy pass. You either got to meet that a little bit earlier, and even there, Dusty Hannahs comes in and tags that. It's very hard if you're locking and trailing, you're coming around. You need help from the bigs. You need real active hands to try and put pressure on that, or you're going to need a tagger, someone to put a body on the roller.
McCarron trying to make something happen for his team. Nice find for Sotto.
Real good finish by the big fella.
It's back to 15, the difference. 5 minutes remaining at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Round 8 in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Golding got to the free throw line to throw it up with the left hand in the end. Showing us the full bag of tricks tonight. Withers from outside. Not that time.
They're playing catch up. You need quick shots. But you shouldn't just abandon your entire system and come down and just put it in the lap of the gods and start throwing it around as Agata comes off. And
first field goal of the game, Caleb Agata.
Say, relatively quiet. Only played 15 minutes in this contest. At the 5 points.
Averaging 16.5 points a game this season.
Don't forget the 8 boards as well.
Sotto, speaking of boards.
There you go, big fella. Go up hard. Good finish. Way to not give up on the play.
Third time's a charm. $89-73. Dellavedova has Hook Porty rolling to the basket. Shot was blocked, but the foul came before that.
And you see that right there. That was the play you were talking about.
Yeah.
Withers came over. Tagged the roller, not even tagged him, but went completely open, took him, and got the block.
It is, and you've got to have faith in your rotations and your communication in order to do that, to have the confidence, because with this Melbourne United team, quite often you're leaving a good shooter, but you've got to rely on ball pressure. If you're going to have help on those on-ball screens and you're not switching, then you've got to figure out a way to deal with that roller. Otherwise, just keep going at it and plays on the rim.
Hug Porty. Very, very productive game. 15 minutes, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 4 offensive.
He was the MVP at the 2020 Basketball Without Borders camp, Ariel Hook Porty. Some familiar names were there.
Yes.
Tamari Wigness, Josh Giddey, Kai Sotto. That will be an unsportsmanlike foul. Agata was in the open floor, and Hannahs is going to give up 2 free throws to Melbourne.
And the ball.
And the ball.
It's hard. It's an instinct. As soon as you hear the whistle blow, you grab your head and think, what am I thinking? Because you know you can't get away with that. But it's just like a reflex action. And it only comes through practice and doing it time and time again that you rewire your mind that you're not allowed to do that.
Adelaide up next will play Illawarra on Monday. Talk about a tough round 8 draw. And they start round 9 on Friday. They head to My State Bank Arena to take on the Jack Jumpers. And then Melbourne again before the end of the month. So we'll have a pretty fair idea of where Adelaide sit within the next 3 games.
Their best is good enough to compete with the best teams. We saw that against the Perth Wildcats. But plays like that, that's not going to get it done. And we heard Dean Vickerman early in that first quarter saying, well, we're getting bullied. We're getting bullied down there. Well, right now, Melbourne United are doing the bullying on the defensive end. They're not getting through plays. It's a bit disjointed, real clunky, and that's because of the defense that Melbourne United have been able to put on the Adelaide 36ers.
For United, they take on Brisbane on Wednesday at Nissan Arena. That should be a massive game after the Bullets getting the job done last night. And then next Sunday, back at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. To do it all again against the 36ers. Peatling from mid-range. It goes. He's had a nice cameo off the bench today, Mason Peatling.
I just love his energy that he brings. That's something that he brings every game since he's put this United uniform on. And I appreciate watching that. He knows that he's not out there for a long time. So he's giving you 100% the whole time that he's out there at both ends. And at a young age, that's hard to find young talent to do that.
Was suspended for one game for his role in the round 2 scuffle with Southeast Melbourne, and since then has found it a little harder to get back into the rotation, but he's been very, very good today. 21 points to 9 in the 4th quarter.
That's just defense getting it done.
Well, Dean Vickerman has gone to his bench. Dalton and Prusta come in. Get some couple of minutes of playing time. It's been impressive, really impressive by Melbourne United. They're holding their opponents to a league low 72.8 points per game with only 9 threes made.
Yeah.
So they are doing a job, and the foundation of what they're doing is on the defensive end. And let's not forget, this was after giving up 24 points in the 1st quarter.
Is that man again, Peatling.
So is that a mindset? Last week in commentary, Liam Santamaria said in one of the Melbourne games that they go to another zone, they go to another headspace. Is it all mindset that when they decide to lock in, that they completely wrap their claws around the opposition?
It's mindset, it's also system. They are all in tuned with what they need to do, in whether it's the on-ball screens, whether what they're doing with dealing off-the-ball situations. They're all in tune and connected. And when your defense is connected, there's always someone there for the next action. And despite all of that, you have the greatest systems in the world, but if it doesn't come with energy and effort and ball pressure, it doesn't really matter what you do. So, yeah, you've got to have the right system, tick that box, but they're able to stay motivated, and he's using a lot of guys. Look at Agata. Only played 17 minutes, using a lot of guys that can maintain that high level of energy.
2 for Hiram Harris. Well, there's still a long way to go in the season, Corey, but if they defend with this mindset for the length of the season, they're going to be pretty hard to stop. And at the other end, they've got a guy named Chris Goldie who could probably drain this for $100,000.
I told you guys about a week ago, that would be the guy I would select to take the shot for me for that 100K.
6 of 12 from outside.
Back to what you asked.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, AG. I have not swayed away from Illawarra still winning this thing. Because I don't think Delhi going 33, 4 and 8.
But he doesn't need
7
to.
of 11 from the 3.
He doesn't
they ain't
need
beating
to.
Illawarra again. If he don't do that 33, they don't win.
But the thing is, they've got so many others that can step up and fill that void. Like, you see it this afternoon here with Delhi. Only had the 3 points, only taken 4 field goal attempts in 21 minutes. However, he's got the 7 assists, so he still contributes in other ways. And the other thing they're doing, and this is probably something that CJ would look at and attribute more to the way in which they were playing defense. Melbourne United only have 6 turnovers in the game and only have 1 in the second half. They had a turnover at 2 minutes and 18 seconds before halftime, and it took another 20 minutes. They just had one a couple of plays ago. So they're taking care of the ball.
I still got Illawarra to win the grand final.
Early days.
Early days, I'm rolling with that.
And you know, with all this stuff going on, it doesn't look like Perth's going to get home anytime soon. So there's a bunch of things of unknowns that I think still could possibly have some impact on how this season unfolds.
Well, we'll see those two in action next.
And I'm not sold on the Wildcats. I haven't been this year. Still not sold.
The Red Army will come for you. Just for something new. It's a day that ends in Y.
Nothing new.
They're loving it because Corey poo-poos Perth every year.
He does.
And well, bugger me, they either win it or they go perilously close. So they're loving the fact that you're doing what you're doing.
Harvey King. There's Malou running the floor. Dalton drags it in. This result is in the book now for Melbourne United. This is some sort of winning streak that they are putting together. Their highest score of the season before today was 89. They've well and truly taken care of that. Their average winning margin coming into today was 16 points in the streak. And it grabs another big win, 97-78. That's 7 in a row.
Impressive. Melbourne United, they just get the job done. This is a well-oiled, efficient machine at both ends of the floor. And Adelaide showed signs of that they are capable, but weren't able to sustain it, weren't able to sustain the defensive effort, giving up 97 points at 47% from the field and 39% from the three-point line. That's hard to compete. They battled hard, and they're going to be a challenge for a lot of teams. But the footlocker player of the game, and Corey, you're the footlocker man who's just all over this.
What do you like, the
Joe Luala Chul?
Asia Pacific GM now or something? What's your title?
Just footlocker.
Creative director.
Oh, there we go.
Pacific.
Oh, I want to learn more about that role. I want to see a job description.
Shout out to JLA.
Shout out to Dave Barlow with his 350. They're getting around him. Say, hey, boys, I'm getting up in age. Just go easy, will you, with the hair? Look at the Fred Astaire. Just stay off the Fred Astaire. So I make sure I look good.
He's still trying to fix the feathers up, Dave Barlow. He takes pride in his appearance. He takes pride in his performance, as he has done over 350 games, as we check in with John Casey.
Thanks very much, Jag. Yeah, I've got Chris Golding here. Congratulations, Chris. That's 7 in a row. If we add on the 4 from the end of last season, that's 11 in a row. So you're really putting together some good form.
Yeah, look, we spoke all week or since our last game about what a quality team they were and how we needed to come out and apply pressure and have our foot on the gas, and we were the complete opposite of that. So the starters need to be better, but our bench group came in, as they so often do, and we're building a bench group that could start anywhere. They gave us some energy, got the game back on our terms, and allowed us to push it out. So it's impressive from them.
You won 11 in a row on your way to the title last season. Can you make any comparison between what you were doing at your best last season to what you're doing now?
I think what we can compare to from a championship run is our level of defensive intensity and, what sort of scores we're holding the opposition to. And, we reflect back and look at our ball screen coverages and see if they're at, Melbourne United standard. So that's about it. We understand we've got a lot of new guys and it's a new team and we're a work in progress, but good to tick over some wins.
And good to crack the century, or almost a century. The last time you scored 100 was here in Adelaide, that last home game that you played here last season. Highest score of the year. And you get it done from so many different avenues. You're a terrifically difficult team to guard.
And that's what we want to be. It's difficult for one person to carry a team night in, night out, and we've got a team with a lot of weapons. And on any given night, whoever gets that opportunity to step up can do that. We saw it with Delhi last game, superstar. This game plays more of a facilitating role. So we want to have those weapons, and we want to give those weapons a chance to shine as well.
I've been told the coach has given you a day off. So what are you going to do with that?
I'm going to hang out with my baby girl. I've been away a lot the last year, so any day off's a good one.
Indeed. Well played tonight. Great job.
Cheers, Case.
Shot the lights out, 18 points, 6 of 12 from outside. Some of these makes are just a thing of beauty.
Well, I think Corey mentioned at the start, when you give a guy like Chris Golding these types of looks. Now Detch just runs into the screen there. You need to lock and trail. You need to be on his hip the whole way. Withers here needs to be tighter. Now, that's not a bad contest, but not against Chris Golding. Coming down, another wide open look, whether it's in transition to the half court. When a guy can shoot it like that with his body all contorted and pointing the wrong direction, 6 of 15 in total, but it's the 6 of 12 from the three-point line. So 6 made baskets from threes is special.
It's a good-looking SodaStream shot chart. From one Olympian to another, John Casey has Matthew Dellavedova.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, Matty Dellavedova here, getting some advice from the fans. When was the last time you played in Adelaide?
I don't think I've played here before.
Ever?
I don't. Under 18 nationals, bottom age. Wasn't a good tournament for big country, but
look, it's great for all the fans here to see you and see this team playing so well. It's amazing how you've come together so quickly.
Yeah, it's. I think we started out slow, but we've been building, and I think we've got a lot of room to improve. But there's some really good signs there, and we've got a really deep team.
We saw your great offensive output against Illawarra. Didn't get the points here tonight, but didn't need to. You facilitated 7 assists. You're happy to play whatever role they need?
Whatever it takes to win. And I mean, we've got so many weapons. Obviously, CG, Joe, Caleb. Tonight, Newells and Ariel really did a good job. Shilly off the bench, Whitey. So we've got a really deep team. And, every night it's going to be somebody different. And I think that's a real strength of this team.
What was it like coming into a championship winning team? Is that a little bit of pressure?
Yeah, I mean, there's always pressure, that you put on yourself and the expectations individually, and then also as a group. The expectation and the goal is to win a championship, and we know that that's going to be hard, and we're going to have to get better during the year to achieve that. But, I think we're making good progress so far.
And a lot was made of the grudge match between yourself and Mitch McCarron. How did you find your way through that tonight?
I mean, Mac is a great player, and obviously, a huge part of the championship team last year. And he's another guy that just does whatever it takes to win. So, it's not really about the numbers. It's just, just trying to help out, do whatever it takes to win.
Well, it's a pleasure for us to have you in the NBL. Great to see you back here in Australia. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It is fantastic to see Matthew Dellavedova, and it is fantastic what's coming up. After the throwdown, the Illawarra Hawks will be looking to hit back, take on the Perth Wildcats. Speaking of trying to hit back, two teams with a couple of points to prove here.
Well, they did, and both of them coming off losses as well, so how they respond to the losses.
And that is coming up very, very shortly. Illawarra and Perth as round 8 continues in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
6 of 6 from outside. Games begin. Now let the games begin. Now let the games begin. I'ma always win.
But once they clicked into gear, they were absolutely superb, Melbourne United. Winners today, 97-78. That's a 7-game winning streak.
It is, and some standout performances for Melbourne United. I thought Porty played his best game in a Melbourne United jersey as well. He was really good, and they shot the ball well, they grounded away, and Adelaide, as we mentioned, showed some signs where they were capable. But when it got tough, in those big moments, Melbourne United were able to put the clamps on the defensive end and do things like this. Little spurts where they'd get out and run and just didn't quite see the level of desperation you needed from the Adelaide 36ers. Those little deflections, as I mentioned, the Adelaide 36ers were only able to force Melbourne United into 7 turnovers. Have a look at the numbers. Detch was good for 13. Bairstow, a lot of those coming early on in the contest, and Corey's new man, he's got a few in him.
No, he's been my man. He's been my man for a while.
You can be a little fickle, but Joel Luala-Chul.
A little
Joel Luala-Chul with the 18 points, 8 rebounds as well. He was on back-to-back double-doubles, comes 2 rebounds short. The shooting percentages really started to drop off for the Adelaide 36ers, and they themselves committed 13 turnovers. In fact, both teams poor from the free throw line. Please, get out there and do a little work on the free throws. The assists was from Melbourne United. A lot of those coming those on-ball situations. We saw that too many easy baskets coming from on-ball situations where the roll-off guy or the guy's getting deep into the paint and creating some havoc in there. So there was some work that the Adelaide 36ers need to do, identifying some of those problems to become better at the defensive end and not let teams get 97.
It's a season that goes from good to better. Every single game that we see Joe Luala-Chul, he's just getting better and better and growing more and more into this starter's role. He had 18 points and 8 rebounds tonight. He was an unstoppable force yet again.
And that's what the best center in the NBL is, an unstoppable force. He can put the ball on the deck, spin move, floater, bucket. How do you want this man to score? Offensive rebounds? He's going to give you that too. He can shoot the 3. He's a rim protector. He plays so hard every possession. You have to guard him, and he's going to defend. That's where he's more impressive this season. He knows defensively he got to bring it. Your baby, young fella, hold this. Bucket, I'm sorry, but welcome to the NBL. That's what it is. That man is on a mission. Even if they losing, he's going hard. What center in this league has he not run through yet?
And,
what center?
And as proclaimed by Corey, the captain of the All Green Light team. Let's not forget that.
First team All Green Light captain.
Speaking of as proclaimed by Corey, I just had a quick little look during the break. Hashtag NBL22 to get involved and join the conversation. Corey made the call that Joe Luala-Chul is the best centre in the league right now. You have fired up Twitter, which you do have a tendency to do. So we thought we'd bring in John Casey to this conversation as well. Case, what say you? Is JLA the best centre in the league right now?
Well, far be it from me to disagree with Corey. He's usually around the mark. And you have to give Joe Luala-Chul great credit. Of course, last season, playing behind Jock Landale. This season, he's made that position his own. Luckily for him, he's got great players around him, and that always helps, obviously, when you can spread the floor with Golding and Agata, 2 of the best shooters in the competition. And then you've got Jack White, you've got Ely, and you've got Matthew Dellavedova orchestrating things. Well, things do become a little easier for the man in the middle. I think right now, if I was picking an all-star team, I'm probably going with Yanni Wetzel as a starting centre and maybe Joe Chi on the other team. Joe Luala-Chul's probably in the mix, but I don't know if he's my #1 centre at the moment.
People are allowed to disagree with you, Corey. This is a conversation.
And then let's not forget Jarrell Martin.
You have to throw their hands up in the air every time someone disagrees.
Jarrell Martin as well.
Okay, here we go.
A bit of a mention.
Let me tell you why I'm not going with Joe Chi right now. And I love this guy.
Or Yanni.
Joe Chi does not play hard enough 100% of the time he's on the court.
He leads the league in block shots.
I mean, he's the tallest guy out there for the most part. Wow. So he doesn't play hard at both ends. Those numbers don't reflect that. Even in a loss, like one game he had 5 points. What are you doing? You know what I mean? If you're the best center in the league, you should never finish a game with 5 points. 1. Duab Reed, top center in the league. I roll with him. But Joe Luala-Chul went down there and handled business in that game. 7 blocks in that game.
Clearly you haven't seen too many New Zealand Breaker games. But
Yanni Wetzel, did you see the game Joe Luala-Chul had against Yanni? when Yanni was coming in red hot?
Well, I haven't seen the numbers, but
oh my goodness, it was like
Yanni.
21
Are you starting to back down a little bit now, are you? No, I agree. I'm sensing that you've just put this thing in reverse. No, although it was non-committal, as I normally am. but Joe Lawal is very, very good, don't get me wrong. But, we've still got a long way to go, and there has been some other really good centres in the competition. And these days it's really hard because, whether you're 4 or 5 or how you want to label someone, but he's playing good basketball. That's the most important thing, along with
what's my man from Sydney?
Jarrell Martin.
All right, let me tell y'all something.
He might need to just
if the players would switch, Joe Lawal ain't losing games in meltdowns like the Sydney Kings do. That's the difference. Sydney Kings, I don't even know what to say. All you do is blood my balls is just my. Look, you hear me? Do you hear? I can't even talk when it comes to the Sydney Kings. Games, meltdown. Every game is a meltdown.
But
this is one, man.
This is one right now. They've had some.
Jesus.
They've had some disappointing ends to the game, and their propensity to come out and rely on three. And even last night, Jarrell Martin, who on the season hasn't been shooting it great from the three-point line. They're going for some shot selection, a little questionable, but gee whiz, they have had some very, very hard luck with some injuries, and getting Xavier Cooks thrown out of the game last night wasn't all that helpful either. Let's put a full stop on the Adelaide 36ers. Case is still with us at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Case, where does this leave the 36ers? Try and bring some sense back to this argument, please. You're the sensible one amongst us. 3 wins, 4 losses for the season. After such a good win over Perth, where are they now?
Well, I'll cut them some slack tonight, Jack, because I think you just have to dip your lid to Melbourne United. That was awesome tonight. That was spectacular, as good as I've seen anyone play this season. They just keep coming at you. They're bringing guys off the bench that are either Olympians or played at the world titles. They're just loaded with talent, and they are so well coached by Dean Vickerman. I think I'm right in saying that tonight was the first time in Dean's coaching career that he's actually coached against a coach who was a player of his, going back to 2014 when CJ played his last game in the NBL. But for the Adelaide 36ers, obviously still a work in progress. We know Isaac Humphries won't play against Illawarra and isn't going to play next weekend, more than likely against Tasmania, and they play Melbourne again here on Sunday. So without him, they certainly have problems, but every team has had injury issues, and we can't certainly make that as an excuse. Jury's still out on Adelaide. There's certainly a lot of talent there, and their good is very good. There's a big gap between their best and their worst. I think we'll know a lot more about Adelaide at the conclusion of their next game next Sunday against Melbourne United, how they respond, what happens between now and then, and what they bring to the table against a team who really tore them apart in the second half here. That's when we'll be able to judge Adelaide a little more clearly.
And I don't think when you're the Adelaide 36ers, you get at the end of the day, you can look at the scorecard and see Daniel Johnson with 8 points and Mitch McCarron 1 of 8, only the 3 points. Now, McCarron does a whole bunch of things. I think he had 10 boards and probably 7 or 8 assists. So he does some other things and ways in which they contribute. But they kind of need this team, unlike it was last year for McCarron, they kind of need him to score a little bit more. And they also, with DJ, who's been fantastic, holding him to only 8 points, it's hard to find out where the other numbers, the other points are going to come from in order for them to get to a level where they can win some games.
Well, there's no doubt it's still a work in progress here for Adelaide, Drewy. And I should point out that Adelaide had just 3 players return from last season. Now, that was the fewest of any team. The next least was 6. So they're really starting from a low base. We know CJ Bruton was appointed late coming into this. And with all those things thrown into the mix, it's still a work in progress. And I think Mitch McCarron is a fantastic signing for them. The development we're going to see, of course, from Sotto as well, who did some spectacular things here tonight. It's exciting to watch as well. But certainly there's room for improvement.
Case, thank you very much. Always great to see you with us, and we'll check you in next time at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. And here's the ladder from a perspective now of Adelaide and where it leaves them. We speak a lot about this bunch in the middle part of the table. The top 4 starting to become clearer and clearer by the day, Corey, and then there's a stack of teams around that middle mark.
Yeah, there is, but the Brisbane Bullets, that's the wild card.
Yes.
They frustrate me the most because they've beaten everybody ahead of them outside of Melbourne United.
They beat Phoenix.
And they beat Illawarra.
Yeah, that's...
So, that top 4 may not be what we see it right now.
But look,
I don't have Perth in it.
And you see the anomaly. 6 games for Illawarra, 5 games for the Phoenix, and only 4 for
the Cairns Taipan. So there is big discrepancies between some teams playing 9 games, one team only playing 4. So a lot of variables and unknowns, and also the way in which the fixture, because of the issues they've been dealing with. Some teams have played those top teams more than some of the other teams. So a long way from home, but it's going to be fun to watch.
Crossover coming up next. After that, Illawarra and Perth. A quick word from you two. Who's winning this game and why?
Illawarra. I am not sold on the Wildcats. I'm not. They're great. Two players they have, individuals. They don't have a good team. I'm not sold on them.
No,
Illawarra for the win.
Well, I hate agreeing with Corey, but I think...
You see? I told you, people on Twitter don't like agreeing with me.
Don't worry about what they say on Twitter. The crossover's coming up next. We're back in half an hour
everywhere.
for Illawarra and Perth.
It's not just Twitter.
It's not just Twitter. We'll see you soon.
The Gram, TikTok even.
It's game time and I'm up one. Name something I ain't done. Name a body that's my type. Air Jordan, I'll take flight. I'm next level, I'm franchise. I'm top tier, I'm that guy. I'm the man of the year. I'm a man with no fear. I think like I'm a shark. The way I move so sharp.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade. This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Amy.
Locker room hype, get ready for the drop.
Yes, hello and welcome to the Amy Crossover. So great to have your company on what is a super Saturday of NBL hoops. A sensational performance by Melbourne United, 97-78 victors over the Adelaide 36ers. We're going to break that all down and much, much more. We're building up to the Wildcats and the Hawks at Wynn Entertainment Centre. But let's bring in the star-studded couch to my left. Kane Pittman, Damon Lowry. Gentlemen, hello to you.
Welcome back.
Thanks so much. We've got an NBL champion and we've got the self-appointed best friend of Giannis Antetokounmpo with us tonight. 7 straight victories for Melbourne United after starting the season 0-2. Pretty impressive tonight, gents.
Couldn't do much more than that. And I think the scary thing for the rest of the NBL is they look like they're just starting to hit their straps as well, particularly offensively. I know we're going to get into it, but this is a team that's had a major roster overhaul. They've been figuring things out along the way, but they seem to be just clicking into gear now on 7 in a row. I don't think we would have predicted it after the 0-2 start.
Now, defense travels. Those guys are consistent. They're going to get it done. They don't care where they play. They make everything happen from the defensive end, and offensively, they got enough weapons. They can get the scoreboard ticking over.
So 7-2 on the season. They're 2 games clear as it stands on top of the table, the defending champions. Tonight, JLA, Joe Luala-Chul, really dominated inside the paint, and Corey Homicide Williams, just a moment ago, has anointed him as the best big man in the league right now. Do we agree?
Yes. Yes, I do. Now, there's a slight competition with Yanni Wetzel, but I don't like to call Yanni a 5-man. He does a whole bunch of stuff. Yanni's like a power forward who can play some small ball center. But for mine, I'm going to go with JLA. He's got the size. He's averaging the 2 blocks a game. He's getting his 15 and his 8. Probably could average a few more rebounds. But at this stage, I'm going to agree with Corey.
I still think it's Duop Reith with the Illawarra Hawks, who we're going to see here in just a few minutes. I think that he's a more versatile offensive player. He can do more. He can score off the dribble. He can shoot from the three-point range, which I actually think JLA has a nice shooting stroke, particularly from the free throw line, but he hasn't quite shown it out to the three-point line just yet. But Duop Reith, I think, is a more versatile player. Maybe JLA is a better rim protector, but I don't think if we came into the season and said, okay, well, we're going to be talking about JLA as the best big man in the league, I think we would have said Melbourne are going to be pretty good. I probably wouldn't have predicted it.
So 18, 8 and 3 blocks tonight. So really impressive stuff from JLA. I get the feeling, Damon, every time I watch Wale Chul, that he's always adding extra elements to his inside game. Feels like he's still learning on the run a little bit, but that's great because he's only going to get better.
Because he's prepared to shoot anything, he's very hard to guard. You close out on him short, he'll shoot the 3. You think he'll shoot the 3, then he'll pump fake and he'll get to the basket. Then they just might throw it to him on the block, and then he'll just jump hook you to death. So he can score from a variety of ways, and I like the way his team include him.
Yeah, he's got nice touch on the jump shot. So I just mentioned the three-pointer, but he's only getting up around 1 per game. But we've seen a couple of highlights here of the mid-range shot that looks really nice. But I think you hit the nail on the head with the hook shot, his post moves, the spin move, he puts it on the floor, and he is looking to score. And I think this is the difference between this Melbourne United team and last year's. Last year they had Jock Landale. They could give him the ball at the top and he would facilitate a little bit. JLA is more of a scorer. When he gets the ball, he's looking to physically dominate. But we're starting to see him get to the free throw line now as well. And he's looking more confident than ever in a starting role. Remember, last year he was an impact player off the bench.
Now, Damon, you mentioned this whilst we were watching the game.